sometimes, right? And that's what I think these things are for. Is just like put your money where your mouth is sometimes, and be like, okay, if I'm saying I can do this, or I want to know magic, I want to know powers, like it's nothing but like, I think even Terrence said that. He said like, you can just see how much courage you have and just put the pedal to the metal, something like that. It
Just do
Yeah.
it.
just do
Just
it.
do it. But like,
Right?
The universe rewards bravery.
yes, it sure does.
You got that
Okay.
right, Frankie.
Sorry about that quick blip into the cosmos, my friends. We're back. Welcome again to the Truth, Beauty, Freedom, and Love show, where we share stories about the magic within our reality in real time. So Frankie was just giving us a story about Aya and being up on stage, being in flow state, being an artist. I feel like there's something really special about being I call it being like a word witch, or like using all of that, like rap, especially with poetry, just how all of those lyrics come to you. Like, where does that come from, and what states do you go in to like activate? Frankie, continue
So
on.
I'm thinking about it now as you're talking, and I'm going, hip hop is just mantras.
Yeah, and
And
frequencies
you're
and
stating
invocations.
facts of how you feel, or your fantasy of what you think you are, or how you view others and other things and how they're cool. And there's so much to it. But what happens when you embody, and I'm going to testify to this, the lyrical content is consciousness driven, and all comes from a good place, and you're putting your all into it. You start to so we were talking about that pipe that runs through you, right? That valve opens, and whatever that is, that energy that you would need gets pulled directly down into you, so you can have that moment now. And it's a moment that it goes fast versus a 30 seconds on stage or on a song, and hooks are the repeaters. So that's where you got to hit them. But you're pumping out positive vibes, positive energy, and you infuse it with that the way you would hear them infusing demonics into masters. You just put your all in, and that's all you need. Creator beings understand what I'm speaking about. You put your energy out into it, it's like your best. Then all of a sudden, there's more, and you can freeze that moment as the artist if you're paying attention. And that 30 seconds can last 2 minutes, 3 minutes long, where you can see everything going on. You can dial a phone number. People don't understand that, right? You can actually
dial a phone number, like a landline.
While you're doing your song, take the call, put it live, show everyone while you're doing all this stuff. Take maybe passing something around and you're part of it, you're waving at this person and you totally get it. You can freeze that moment, or you can speed through it to get to another maybe thing that you like to do as well. Like, I like this part, but it really drives home at this part, and you create the tempo and speed of the entire environment. Right? So all of this I use or have used as a judgment to how we work and how we can activate these abilities full time.
Oh, yeah. Right? Yeah. Do you think that there's only certain times of like full power, like for example, like in astrology, if you're born under a full moon, it makes sense to me that during full moons, like you're born under a full moon, like that you'll have a certain level of power, or maybe intuition or something inspirational will come to you at those types of times of the year. Perhaps like springtime might be a good time for some people like me who are spring babies, or like depending on where you find your power, like whether or not you like being in like a colder climate, or you like being in like next to the beach, or whether or not you like being in a dry kind of climate. It's like also being aware of like where your body is and your genes are to like be in the best scenario environment for you to be able to activate that. Because if you feel like crap, it's harder to just like, where are my powers? I'm like, I'm tired.
Activations that happened way prior in my life, to keep it out of the ayahuasca and the psychedelics for a second, were once when I was in jail. I had an out-of-body experience while I was wide awake sitting on a bunk, because everyone was threatening me that was there, just because I walked in, and then I just sat on the bunk and faced. There was like a little window piece on the top bunk, and I sat there, and I was like trying to put myself into a place of stay calm, don't go out there, and don't let anyone come in here and do anything. And I swear, my soul came out of me, my light body, right in front of me, and the body just nodded, and I went right through the wall. The window was right here. It was small. It was dirty, and I went right through it, and I saw every layer as I pierced it. And then I was outside, and I was like, how am I outside and inside? And I looked down, freaked out, went back into my body, woke up, heard everyone screaming, and then I hear, calm down. So the guards got involved out there. So as they were, I was like, oh, I'm safe. There's no one else in the cell. If I just did that, I could do that again. Now I got a moment, and it just worked. I was in the same state. And I felt comfortable now that I knew I wasn't going to get injured. So I would say fear-based, trying to calm. You could not get into a fear mode in that place. So I was somehow putting myself there. And in that moment of trying to become fearless, it worked.
Like
my mother, and the other story is my mother, when I was much younger, I was a teen. She worked at the hospital. She got mugged. And I didn't know. No one knew, right? So she got out of work. She got mugged right across the street.
She hid that from you?
I was in the bathroom. Nobody was home. I was so happy. There's nobody here. I had the door open. I was sitting down, and I heard my mother scream my name as if she was like downstairs. And I completely wigged out, got up, and then I'm like, Ma? And then nothing, and then the phone rings, and I pick up the phone, and it's my mother screaming for help on the phone.
Oh no.
So that was she was there. The voice was right next to me. So I was like, yo, I told everyone what had happened. And they said some of the older Italians were like, when you get scared, things happen. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really understand that.
Those are like things that old people say to you when you're young, to explain bad stuff happening. It's
like my family's way of explaining things sometimes, like our sicknesses. They don't explain it.
You're like trying to decipher a translation. You're like, what do you mean exactly? About? So that's why symbolism is really nice. And it's also why I had brought my little comic book here, right? Because Mr. Frank Castle is also in this comic book, right?
Nice.
Because it's a way of modeling reality, right? And Pokey, hi Pokey, saying happy birthday. Well, my birthday's in April, so this is like my birthday month, and so Frankie also
happy birthday month.
Oh yeah, thank you, and it's also you want to call it like spring season, and less coming into rebirth and awareness of who you are, right? Which is why I brought Caduceus, my DJ hubby, on here, and Frankie as our first guest, because it's this level of I think a big commonality between the three of us especially is how much music means to us on a very deep level, because I do think that all musicians, if you're working with music, that is a level of shamanism, because you are working with other realms. And even in comic books, they talk about how it's the frequency, you're calibrating to frequencies and sound. There's something about all of this stuff that we can't see. And so what does it take to believe in magic or superpowers or whatever we want to call it? Whatever we define it as is maybe not the point. The point is whether or not we can do something with it. Because I would love to be able to have the ability to give someone, be able to have them walk again, right? Like Barbara Gordon in the DC universe loses the use of her legs, but Lex Luthor has the technology to have her walk again. And he's a villain, right? So in these stories, there's ways of talking about how reality works. So we don't get so emotionally tied up in things that religion has given us, or all these old programs give us, right? So yeah, I think sorry, go on, Frankie.
No, I was just going to say that's it's an incredible story that's out there. Um, I would say, well, the universe got jokes.
Yeah, no, universe has
Right?
a wicked sense of humor, right?
Wicked.
A
Yeah,
wicked.
the universe got jokes. So you're telling me Lex Luthor's got the cure? It's like, yeah, you got to stop being so tight with everything. Right? So as a creator, I want to reach into you and pull out whatever's negative and throw it on the floor, like I've seen some of these people do, right? Where they hold the crystal, they
Yeah.
kind of meditate some mantra, and the skin
Like they
just opens.
pull like the.
I've seen this.
Yeah.
I've seen it done, and I'm like, that's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
And then I stopped saying it's impossible. I just started saying, I'm going to figure out how to do this.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah.
You don't want to stick your hand in someone and be. I'm like, no, that you never actually touch anything, because nothing's actually touching. You just kind of like, and you can remove. You could also bring light to the scenario. So me on stage, I always give my all, and if I'm in that zone, it's going to benefit whoever was paid to see the show, whoever's there.
Yeah. Well, you're an entertainer, right? That's the thing.
Everyone rises in that frequency, right? What do you call that? Rock in the house, right? When the beat drops, and it's that thing that everybody's
you
like,
feel it, and
oh,
you're in the moment. Yeah,
it's just it's insane.
It's a vibe. Yeah, it's a vibe. It's a vibe.
Yeah.
So there's also been moments under ayahuasca where I'll hear my favorite artist will come on. And I've had to shut the music off because the music's infused with other things.
Yeah, that's true. Other messages.
So dark
in the
frequencies,
yeah.
whatever.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
No. But I'm like, so if you can do that on one end, you can do that on the other. And if you can unlock with a mantra, but because there was a story of like a monk, and he goes to see another monk on top of the mountain, and there's this lake, and the monk's like, yo, I know how to walk across the water. You do, this is the mantra. So he tells the monk on the top,
it's like the magic
where you
word.
can run across the lake, the mantra, but the guy hears him wrong and starts saying it completely wrong, but he catches the guy just running across the water. Right? So
yeah, no, it's,
you can put people in the right frame, right? And then it allows all of that stuff to bloom out.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
You create a space and an environment with your energy so that they flex. I think that's how it really works. I mean, you could do a lot, but you could really lift during the tidal wave by doing stuff like that.
Yeah. No,
so when you walk into the room and everyone's like, hey, it's like, yeah, now it begins. Yes. Right? You prepare for the frequency because that's what everyone loves.
Yes.
And then now let's ride knowing that we have that with us. Yes. When you're mentally there, I'm actually curious now how this is going to play out.
Yeah.
How the music is going to influence, because we're tired of the WAP. Yeah. Right? Because if music influences and you're saying that, and that's the greatest song of the year, we obviously got some work to do.
Oh man, across like all like.
But I will tell. So for example, like Kev D will pull out certain songs, and I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna make a dance to this. And then let's say I'm in like the studio and I don't have the track with me, I'll like pull it up on Spotify. So I'll listen to the same track, and I'm like, this doesn't sound right. There's something, I don't know what it is about it, because I'm usually looking for something in the song to dance to. Like there's different moments where I can like, ooh, that would look really good with that moment. But in the Spotify remix, I don't know if it's over edited or what it is. There's just something about it not sounding the same as if I were to, I guess, maybe hear it on radio. And I don't know, maybe I'm just old, but I don't know. Thoughts on that, Frankie, about like the streaming platforms in terms of like making music, producing music, and trying to get it out there distribution wise? Like, how have you seen that change?
It's changed so much. I connect directly. I'm the whole thing now.
Yeah, like
my partner and I.
Yeah. One man, showman, the whole shebang.
It's a lot harder, a lot easier.
No.
Yeah.
Where I grew up, we're a couple miles from Yankee Stadium. So we would go down over there and there would be OG rappers, there would be gangsters, there would be bikers, like hardcore.
Yeah.
Everyone was hanging out, and they were doing conscious rap was in at the time.
Yeah.
It was early on, and the streets were doing it better than what you were hearing everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like leaping into a moment that you can't grab now as much because of everything that goes on. I'm sure it's there.
Yeah.
But we would,
it
was a weird moment in history.
Yeah. It's a moment.
Yeah. And then it changed into gangster rap. That came out. I was like, I'm an old OG. So then,
Old wizard.
The whole thing changed.
On the
it
top
went
of the
puffy at the little. It went a little this. It went a little that. Right. Like I played football at Fordham Prep. We played Mount St. Michael. I played Puffy. They were all there. We were making fun of him as a kid. He was like a little guy, like, we were like, shut up, right? Like it was that kind of stuff. We were young men.
I love that.
Weird things went on. Yeah, weird connections.
The world is a very small place.
The music went through so many changes into the digital mix. So the radio stations here in New York, it used to sound good coming out of your car stereo, listening to
in your
morning
car,
drive.
You could feel it. You could feel other people's
and your
vibes.
song comes on, like, oh my gosh.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you play the radio now, there's something about it that's off. And I bet it's the frequency. Everything went digital at some point.
How it gets distributed.
All the music started sounding a little different. So much so that people press vinyl now all the time.
Yeah.
Like artists make it a part of their thing to press some vinyl.
Yeah.
So you can have that. So we're going to get it back, and we'll get back to the 432 hertz from 430. Like they moved it around a little bit on us. They tuned your computers to that. So it's always got this little thing. And when the streaming platforms play it, they compress everything.
Yeah, the compression.
Even though they have the master, it just goes through a copy.
Yeah.
So we're getting watered down music, watered down life. Everything's fake. You can't trust none of this. Nothing what the system's giving you. I went through being signed to Def Jam for 16 weeks, right when Jay-Z became president. And then all the things I had to do to be an artist, to be part of that.
Wow. Yeah.
It's not just show up. Now I can just do right here.
Oh, you don't have to sell your soul, man. You know, like.
Yeah.
It feels so good to have this microphone.
It's a nice mic.
And
and just
also so much.
It's your voice, right? I feel like when I was working corporate for a very long time before I'm going to become, because when I first moved out to Toronto, I wanted to be April O'Neil or like Lois Lane, like news journalist, find the truth, the story of everything. And when I went to school here, I became very disillusioned. I'm like, oh, this is just show business. News anchoring, all of that, doing the weather on the green screen. It's all just, we are anchoring in a particular version of reality, but it's presented as real. But we accept it because the news is saying it. But then when it's
you did technically get the job and found the truth.
Yes, now. But when I was in corporate, though, like when I used to do these conversations, Kevin would even tell me, he's just like, oh, your voice. Like I have like that corporate voice. Good morning.
Yeah.
Happy Friday, everybody. Oh my gosh. And markets and all this stuff.
I could tell it wasn't her. That's all.
It was just like, and so it took years after breaking through on Mushies to like get my voice back.
Right.
And sound like me again. And so I guess like different intonations in your voice can change based on what role you're playing for people in your life.
Well, they would say you're relaxing into yourself.
Yes. Yeah. So I don't know if like your performance voice, Frankie, is different like than the voice you use with your Lady Love, or versus like.
It's just me, 100%. Right. You may get some. I know KG likes to throw effects all over my stuff, but it's always just me, the old original OG, doing it right. And I believe in being part of that movement. The movement's happening in me. It's happening in you. We were just talking about activating superpowers. That's the movement. It's the movement of everything.
Yes.
And it's moving pretty quickly. And I'm doing it. And I want to be riding that like the Silver Surfer.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Right? I want to be tuned into it. I'd like to be ahead of it like Dr. Doom would be. I knew this was going to happen, so I showed up a day early. We were drinking beers all night last night. Where were you, Frank? And I'm like, oh, so I'm the last one to know, huh? And I want it. I want the whole thing. See, that's another thing. I'm not afraid of it. I'm not afraid of change because so many times everything had to change.
Yes.
And I always wanted to hold on to something. Never worked. As my groups evolved and changed, I try to hold on to the original. Yeah. It just, the more I held on, the more it slipped through my fingers, the more I became bitter about it. So I had to just let it go.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
It's a big lesson.
Like I'm not afraid of it now. Now I'm like, bring it. And I played for so many people over the years and in different times where our group really got on and we had a little momentum behind us. And I wonder now what I would be like up there.
Yeah.
But I think so our powers break through in different ways through the density prior to us having knowledge of the fact that we're even waking up.
That's true too.
So a stage performance will get you in the flow and you'll feel like you can slow time. You'll do something and then you'll try something and it'll work because you're in the moment, and it'll work because you were in the moment. And then you try to capture the moment again.
Yes.
All right. So as you put these things into perspective and you say, okay, I'm ready to see what's going on here, not believe it when I see it. Universe, I'm ready. Show me the magic. You begin to see the doors of the perception that you, first of all, in your reality around you change. Then you change along with the whole thing, thus enhancing you, bringing forth that magic that we're all speaking about.
Yes.
Some people, so magic.
Magic tricks.
They're just really good at doing their thing.
Or scam artists.
Some people shout about it from the rooftops. That too. I don't shout no more, but that was me, right? A Leo, we can do this. Everybody was like,
you
shut
need a Leo
up.
on the
and now
team,
everyone comes back.
Yeah.
Well, people are starting to open up. And I'll even say to them, hey, but I tried to tell you that 10 years ago. And they go, no, you didn't.
So I remember that wrong.
You weren't ready. So we get so we'll circle back into it now. So we get to break through in moments of fear, in moments of duress of some kind, or like in a basketball game or a baseball. Anyone that plays sports knows the moment that it goes to and the pressure that you're under. If you learn to just breathe through those moments as a human, you can have those moments and then eventually they never end. It is just moment after moment like that. And it'll appear as magic, but you're the magic. That's the thing.
Yeah.
When you're looking for the magic, you don't want to believe that it's you. Why would it be me? Why not you? Why is it well, it is her. It is me. It is him. Yeah. It is you. So then you get to bring that energy in your magical way. If this was the X-Men, your ability would be, and then it's whoever you are, whatever your ability is.
Yes. And right? I think
Some
that's
people
part of the
know
challenge.
Just by natural instinct.
Yeah. People, though, I think have, I think you're very well in touch with your multiverse self, right? All the selves that are doing things in the dreamscape, all of your higher selves, whatever you want to call it, right? I think you're very in touch with it. I think a lot of people feel very isolated from even themselves, right? They haven't had the time to just be alone with themselves. And it's just a matter of, I think, when people say like, well, you tell me what my superpower is, right?
Yeah, that don't work.
No, it doesn't work that way. It's like, no. It's like, no, I'm just here to show you that it's possible.
You wind up pulling in that timeline that's open on that person that does that. And then that person's like, but I don't do anything like that because they haven't made the connection yet.
But I feel like that's something like, I tell that to Caduceus and yourself, Frankie, when you have these big, bold worlds that you've furnished and created, that sometimes I think people don't realize that they have their own, and they're very like enamored with yours, and they try to make yours
tell me more
theirs.
story.
Yeah, they're like, oh, give me yours, but these are my powers, and I'm not saying you don't have some of the same. But
you should be able to compare notes.
But we should be able to I always say, like, could you imagine if like Batman and Superman had their powers reversed? Like if they tried to do different things. Like it just, those archetypes are meant to hold specific energy signatures, right? And so it's just about knowing which ones you resonate with, and then get clues from that. And because whenever I ask on my lives, like I'm gonna check my TikTok soon, but people have different favorites, right? Some people really love Thanos for some reason, right? And there's something to it, right? To all of that. And so knowing that, I think, is also a clue to as like how, okay, like for me personally, my ability, I would say, like, I have really high intuition. I can feel like when I have like a connection with someone, if they're like in trouble, or if like you need me to call to call you, or like I could always tell at the gym that me and Kevin worked at whenever he would enter the building. And I would test it, right? You test this with people you have these connections with. Yeah, you're like, okay, wait, let me try this. Let me test myself. Like, is he there? He is. Aha! I was right. Or like thinking about someone and then they call you. Or they see you in a dream and then you see them.
I use my cats a lot. I'll think of my cat that sleeps with me, Sugar Pop, and then I'll see her stand up and I know she heard me, and then she'll just show right up.
Yeah.
She'll be like, oh, yeah, Dad, what's up?
Yeah, you just think about it. What the?
It's so
they're
nuts.
tuned. Oh yeah.
Tune consciousness. They know when you open your eyes.
Like, Wolfie's like that.
Yeah. Well, this is what I'm saying. So if I wanted to learn something, how can I learn it? Unless say there's something you're doing, and you're like, when you break through, this is one of the things you can do. Let's say it's telekinesis, right? So I'm like, I want to learn how to do that. So ayahuasca would tell me, if you want to learn something and you want to have that ability, imitate exactly what she's doing until you understand what she's doing. Follow her, see, let her guide you, hear whatever she's saying and take it all in, and then do what she's doing. So she's waving her hand like this, and you're like, I don't know why you're doing that. Kind of looks like you're writing script in the air. It's like, stop talking and just do what I'm doing. And breathe. Look at me. See how relaxed I am? Okay, that person, because the will to learn it is on the table. I desire this from my heart, and this person's like, and from my heart, I will teach it to you. But I can only tell you what I tell you and show you how I do it. But you have another ability. You feel like you're telepathic with your wife. So then you come in and you start following the process and learning it. And you're like, oh, one day it just happens. And you're like, that's what's going on. And I thought you were skywriting like a nut job. No, you were like opening energy in front of me.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. You didn't tell me that. And they're like, these things are meant for you to witness. I tell you the story. I put everything out there for you. Yeah. That's why it's my story. It's like a giant parable where you can hear me and all my comparisons and how I became fearless for that one moment. You don't think I'm not afraid of things, because I am. But I try not to be. And in the moment of trying not to be or be is when it occurs. Because I ran a few times as a kid because I got beat up by bullies. So fight or flight would take over. And then I stopped being bullied and I stood in it and I said, bring it. And then it got too real. So now I just do that with spirit. I anchor it in and I'm like, what is it? I'm not running from it. So forget it. It's not like I could outrun you anyway. Right? Where am I going to get? Downstairs and out the front door 3 steps? Get out of here. We're going to do whatever.
People love to try to outrun themselves, though. People love to just pretend that like that part isn't there. So
until
like
one
that
day,
moment of fire, right on the other side is the baby or the dog. The door's locked. You got to punch through it, or they're going to die. It's like you don't have to, but you could.
That's it.
But you don't have to. You're not being judged, but you could.
Yeah, that's it.
You just got to jugging out the door.
Yeah.
You do it, and you're like, bro, I saved the dog. That's how you save the dog.
That's how you do it.
You gotta find it in you.
Yes. you know, it's like a quest like within, right? I look at it like I love King Arthur, the Sword and the Stone, Knights of the Round Table, and so that whole concept of the sword and the stone is like your birthright. Like what, like that sword is always yours, right? But you do have to be worthy of it, just like Thor's hammer. It's like the worthiness of wielding whatever the magical tool is.
I had to learn never to kneel.
Yeah. And stand in your own power.
Up. I was like, no, but I took a shot and I'm get it up. Either get up or stay down. Choose, but get off your knees. Yeah. And then when something biblical or totally evil occurs, sometimes you want to kind of like put your head in the sand. I've learned to look directly at it. Yeah. Forced myself through the shaking of the knees to speak out against the atrocity of the snake people being that's doing terrible magic, to the reptilian eating people, to our own people eating people. Like, just what is going on? And now I'm at the point where I'm like, oh, so you exist too, huh? Of course you do. Everything exists around source, right?
That's it.
And then Wizard's always on time. So what's up? I always get involved. What's up? Because if you're here,
call us up.
Something going on, right? You'd call me, but
well, there would be no story. Yeah, there would be no story if there was no villain, right? And like, it's just a matter of you are the universe.
It's what brings you forward.
Oh, timing wise, okay. So I'm running out of free time in my little conversation. I will have a longer conversation with you, Frankie, going forward. But I wanted to make sure that we didn't get cut off so rudely like next time. But I'll have you on the show again another time. I'm gonna have us restart this so we can say proper goodbyes. But I want to end this live, which I'm on. I haven't checked my TikTok once. Let me see.
Because it might cancel out on us.
Let's see here. Oh, why am I not live?
You're not live.
What the heck? Let me just double check. But anyways, well, this at least is live and good. And I had Pokey say hi. Hello, how's it going? So, Frankie, anything? I know you mentioned things at the beginning of the call, but anywhere that anyone can reach you or find you or get more information about you and your music or any links like that, please do drop.
Well, check it out. Everywhere there's music, YouTube and Spotify and everything in between. Sons of the Suns music, right?
Oh yeah, love that symbolism.
Check out the new single Singularity. It's pretty awesome. I love it. Going AWOL and Never Touching Down. They're playing on FM radio in Vermont, so you might want to check those songs out. That'd be pretty dope. And then you can find me on YouTube at Fearless Tribe or Frank Castle Fearless.
Sounds good.
And that's it. Everything else is there. Every piece of information you would need. Thank you so much, by the way.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. No, we'll do this again going forward. I want to do this. I'm doing this like on a weekly basis with guests, but we'll book you in to do this again because I do have my whole Dragon Warriors thing that I'm working on, and I'm getting it up on Indiegogo.